Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Hope your Tuesday's off to a fantastic start. National championship game last night was a dud. For those that watched it, UConn, no trouble at all with San Diego State. The house took a hit on that one. Bettors were heavy on UConn money line and spread, and no issues at all. So basketball season now, college basketball season is over. And it's championship season. You can see there from the description in today's episode, the White House has created a little bit of a controversy. And for those of you who have watched me or followed this at all for any length of time, you know I am probably the least political human that exists in a culture today where everything is politicized. This only seeps in because it relates to the LSU women's basketball team. So the First Lady was at the national championship game between Iowa and LSU, and she has expressed her desire to have both LSU and Iowa at the White House for the championship celebration. It was interesting because I was at the championship celebration, the welcome home celebration for the basketball team yesterday at the Maravich Center, and some of the media members there were talking. Someone asked me, like, do the women's champions go to the White House? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've always seen the women's champions go to the White House. And then obviously a short time later is when we learned that the First Lady was wanting to invite Iowa along with LSU. She said, quote, she was at the Colorado State Capitol in Denver. She said, quote, "I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do. So we hope LSU will come. But, you know, I'm going to tell Joe, I think Iowa should come too because they played such a good game." My guess is this is going to get shot down. Kim Mulkey did say after the game that if they were invited to the White House, she would go. White House visits became controversial during the Trump administration because you had athletes that didn't want to go. I don't care. That's so stupid. I don't want to talk about it. But Angel Reese tweeted a link to the story and put in all caps a joke. And she's right. I mean, I don't know that I've seen a single human respond to this story in a positive way. The visit to the White House is reserved for the champion. LSU didn't go to the White House when they lost the national championship game to Alabama in 2011. You go to the White House as it is a tradition that I believe dates back to Nixon. Could be beyond that. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's when it started. Of champions being honored at the White House. So that's it. There's nothing else. I mean, do times change for history? Sure, but like it's supposed to be an honor for a team that wins a championship. I don't think that anybody's going to disagree with me. I mean, I'm talking obviously to a very partisan LSU crowd, but that's fundamentally absurd. And I don't know that, like, if I were LSU and they were going to co-invite Iowa, then I'm not sure I'd be okay with that. Like, I would probably say, no, let's hit that one out. And it sucks because, like, for the players, I always think of it through this lens. For all the people who talk about a White House visit, this or that, and who's in office, whatever, I don't care. Like, how many times in your life, really, in a person's life, would they have an opportunity to have a private tour of the White House, Oval Office, all that sort of stuff, like dine in the White House, because usually they get fed while they're there, and meet the president? I mean, not many people ever get a chance to meet a sitting president. So, like, you're talking about something that for a lot of those girls, those athletes, would literally be like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I can't imagine taking that away But at the same time, man, like, you just completely diminish the honor if you do it that way. So anyway, that's what's percolating. We'll see if anything comes of that today. Hopefully they realize the backlash and stand down. Okay, let's say some good mornings. By the way, link pinned is actually a ProCharge link. If you haven't heard, ProCharge this month is going to give away 3, not 1, not 2, 3 EV chargers to commercial businesses. So if you're a business owner or know someone who is, you have a chance to win an EV charger plus the installation at your place of business. So click that link, fill out the form, and the winners will be chosen at the end of the month. So, and if you don't own a business but know someone who does, send them that link. I've explained it before. You install an EV charger. There's a tap to pay method. So, that's something that turns into passive revenue for your business. ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. All right, let's see some good mornings here. Brad David, Jonathan Martin, Brett DeGrow, what's going on? Brad David, why do you think NBA ratings are struggling? NBA ratings aren't struggling. I don't know why you'd think that. I mean, typically you have to look at what do primetime games do and what do playoff games do. Because NBA, when there's so many games in a package, it's generally an aggregate. Like, you're not going to get, like the women's game saw 9.9 million people watch LSU-Iowa. I think a lot of y'all saw that number yesterday probably. Like, you're not going to get 10 million people to watch a regular season NBA game. But it's an aggregate where you have every team playing 82 games, and so you sell a package if you're TNT or if you're ESPN, if you're battling New Orleans. Gregory Carter, Larry Garner, Field Guy 316. White House should have better things to do than pick on LSU. Yeah, and I don't know necessarily that they're picking on LSU. I just think it was a really off-the-cuff kind of misguided statement by Jill Biden that I bet at this point she wished she could take back. Tim Gotro, Wendell Norman, Reed Rule, good morning. What's it going to take to get men's basketball back to 4 quarters? If it's good enough for women's, it doesn't make sense to me. I agree with you, Reed. Some things just make common sense, and that's one of them. I do think that the game should go to 4 quarters, like at every other level of sport, of the sport. Yeah, I agree. And I don't know if it's never, I mean, it has to have been proposed. I would have assumed it would have been proposed. It doesn't look like it's been proposed to the Rules Committee anytime soon. But I'm with you. I mean, I prefer uniformity. You're seeing uniformity in a lot of sports, from clocks and rules violations, and certainly I think the time should be as well. Ryan Pike, Jared Roach, Weston Weaver, sick shirt. Thanks, Weston. Appreciate that. Erica just got this for me. First time wearing it. Leon Williams, what's going on? Jesse Brown, morning, Matt. Not to be the Debbie Downer, but they're calling for rain here in South Carolina Friday, Saturday. 90% Friday, 80% Saturday. So, of course, LSU is playing baseball against South Carolina this weekend. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. I do like that the SEC did this a few years ago for Easter weekend. They stopped playing games on Easter Sunday, and so they made all weekend series on Easter weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which I do like. It gives the players and their families and the fans the holiday, at home. So I do like that the league did that. So we'll apparently be watching the radar. A lot can change still. 48 hours to go till game one. So, but again, the thing that to keep most in mind, and I think he said it was rain Friday, Saturday. Friday, Saturday. The most important thing is you get Thursday's game in without having to move anything, right? Because if you are, I was just keeping an eye on Paul Skeens. So you don't want a Paul Skeens start to be disrupted. He's already had a couple of starts moved up, right? The season opener and then the Arkansas game, they moved up because of threat of weather. So what you don't want to have happen is you start the game, rain comes, and Skene's is shut down. So that's the most important thing to me, is just make sure Skenes gets his full start. Smash that like button if you would, please, there on YouTube. Subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Let's see. Ryan Amanda Guidry, Deborah Cowart, Brian Wynn, Jeff McKithen, Trey Fisher. What's up, Fish? Good morning. Jeremy Sagely, good morning. Good morning, y'all. Good to see everybody here this morning. Where are we? Yep. Brian Wynn, how crazy is it to invite Iowa women's basketball? Yeah, so here's the thing, Brian. I think we all agree on that. I don't know that they've been formally invited, and that's the thing. Jill Biden was making just some public comments in Denver and was asked about it, and ultimately said she hopes LSU comes, and she told Joe she'd like to invite Iowa too. That it's not necessarily that there's been a formal invitation extended, and I hope there isn't. And if there was, I hope Iowa would decline. Kelly Gross, Brian Tanya, good morning from Albuquerque. Okay. Brian Stock, good morning. So Clayton Knight mentions LSU and USC in 2003. But see, Clayton, I actually have no problem with that one. Because both did go. And USC was the AP champion that year, and LSU won the BCS. They were both national champions by legitimate outlets. So I don't have I've always said with the LSU-USC thing this. I've tried to look at it from the other point of view. If LSU had been left out of the national championship game and had been named the AP champion, you damn well know we claimed that AP championship. And so I don't blame Southern Cal. It's not their fault that Oklahoma got skunked in the Big 12 championship game by Kansas State and still got in the national championship game. So I've never faulted SC for that. They want to claim the AP title, claim the AP title. I don't care. I mean, from an LSU fan's perspective, you go into the season knowing what the rules are before the season starts and who's the champion of what you're playing for, and you won that title. So claim it, own it, and let USC do whatever they want. But I don't fault them for claiming the 03 AP title. Because the AP title has been a legitimate title for 100 years. So, but that was weird with two teams being there. Clayton Knight said there was a McDonald's meal at the White House. I remember that when Trump gave everybody McDonald's. Craig Duga, all I'm saying is if I win a national championship only to find out the loser is also invited, I don't go. I wouldn't blame you, but the thing that I would struggle with is, again, like for a lot of those kids, it might be the only opportunity they ever have to have like a private tour of the White House and meet the president and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, that is like you would be denying yourself and your team and your players a once in a lifetime opportunity because of something silly. But my hope is, y'all, my sincere hope here is that like sanity sets in and Iowa is not invited to the White House. Bubba Smith, Truax, what's good? David Bass, good morning. Brandon Hoyt, Glenn Thomasy. The LSU Ladies Natty is going to improve already #1 recruiting class. Well, keep in mind, Glenn, at this point, it would have to be, if you added anybody, it would have to be transfer portal players, but because the signing period's come and gone. But yeah, I mean, you already got Michaela Williams who's coming in, who's everyone who knows basketball says she's the real deal, out of Parkway. So they're just getting started. Let's see, a couple more here. Bob Poole, David Tolson, quick question regarding women's college basketball. Wasn't there a time Louisiana Tech was dominant before Pat Summitt took over Tennessee? Louisiana Tech actually won the first ever women's college basketball national championship. So yeah, the Lady Texters were a really good program in the 80s and early 90s. Of course, Pat Summitt built Tennessee to prominence, and then Gino came and I believe won their first title in '95. Those are that team with Rebecca Lobo, And that was the first of what's been 11 for Geno. But yes, Louisiana Tech in the early days was a dominant program. I mean, Kim played there. Kim was on the team that won the first national championship. Matt Blanchard, good morning. Do you think the Saints should bring in B.J. Ojulari for workout? Would it be a good fit in the DA system? So the Saints run a little bit more of a traditional four-man front. And I'm not sure I like B.J. Ojulari as a hand-in-the-dirt edge player. I mean, just think how big Cam Jordan is, Marcus Davenport. Just think about those guys. Like, that's their traditional DNs that the Saints use. I don't know that Ojulari is a great fit. If you try to make him a hand-in-the-dirt defensive end, I don't think he's that guy. You want an example? Look at what's happened with Zach Bond. Zach Bond was a really good edge rusher at Wisconsin in that 3-4 kind of outside, stand-up outside linebacker. The Saints draft him, and he just has not found a home. He's a tweener. He's not big enough to be a hand-in-the-dirt end. He's not your prototypical inside linebacker like Demario Davis or Pete Werner, so he struggled to find a place in this defense. So I kind of think Ojulari would be the same thing. Now, if the Saints wanted to draft Ali Gay, I think he would be a perfect hand-in-the-dirt edge in the NFL. I think, Baskerville, mid-late round pick. If we're just talking about defensive players, I love Jay Ward. I think Jay Ward is so versatile that whatever NFL team drafts Jay Ward is getting a really good player. I think you're getting P.J. Williams, a guy that can play safety, can play nickel, can play dime, can play on the outside. If you need me, can play anywhere, can play special teams. I think that's Jay Ward. I think he's going to be a great pro, a long-time pro. So there's guys there are LSU players, I think, that are going to be really good pros and guys that would fit with the Saints. I don't know that Ojulari is one of them. All right. Cliff Nelson, morning Scone. Sprinkles are for winners, per flow from Progressive. Okay. Bodacious117, what's going on? Let's see. Dalton Barnett, Matt Plavidal. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have put the White House thing in the description, because now all of this is just people crapping on Biden, and it's all politics, and I hate that stuff. But anyway, I get it. It's not that I like or don't like Joe Biden. I just don't care. Let's see. Leon Williams, Matt, the Lady Tigers need to get the gad dance like Burrow and the boys. That would be funny. That would be really cool. I mean, look, you already saw Alexis Morris smoke the cigar on the couch holding the trophy like Burrow did. That would be a really cool way to pay homage if they did get the gad. That'd be cool. Gulf South, have you heard about the Locked On Baylor podcast from yesterday? Never in my life have seen someone so butthurt about a coach leaving. I have not. I don't even know who does the Locked On Baylor podcast, but I like the Locked On Network. I mean, I did Locked On LSU for 3 years and only left because Guarantee started its podcast network and asked if I would essentially move the podcast over, which is why I do LSU Daily, which, by the way, LSU Daily is live already. But you know what, Gulf South, the thing about Kim leaving, and we had these conversations at the time, I wouldn't blame a Baylor fan for being upset, but you can't be upset at Kim. You need to be upset at the administration of Baylor. The way that whole thing went down is, as I know, and I've had some of the blanks filled in over time, is Kim had certain things she wanted in a new contract. There were resources she wanted, and she got essentially a take it or leave it contract. The athletic director there and the president that hired her were no longer there, and she didn't have great buy-in from her new bosses. So, timing matters sometimes. And so here comes Scott Woodward and gives her this huge contract and makes the commitment of all the things and every time she had a demand, it was a yes. So it was like that kind of, I'd almost compare it to like when Saban went to Miami. The way the story goes is Saban kept asking for more and more and more, thinking eventually Wayne Huizenga would say no, but he just kept saying yes to everything down to like Terry Saban getting a shopping spree and their use of their plane and all, like, it was just, everything was a yes. So at some point you just have to say, well, okay, you've given me everything I wanted, and that's kind of what happened with Kim. So if Baylor fans are upset, I mean, this is a 2-year-old conversation now in hindsight, but if Baylor fans are upset, they should be upset with the Baylor administration, not with Kim Mulkey. Patrick Ramos, going to Augusta tomorrow. All right, man, enjoy. Let's see, Jason H., Cliff Nelson, smash that like button if you would. Alley Boy, any men's basketball news? I believe, file this away, that LSU is going to get some good news today in men's basketball. I believe LSU is going to get some good news today in men's basketball. Matt, do you think Hendon Hooker ends up in a Saints uniform? I'm going to say no, Gregory. I'm going to say no. But I would be thrilled if he did. Michael Castello, Baby Bobby, what's going on? It's 8 o'clock. I got to go. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. No, Will Wade's not coming. Gulf South is Will Wade coming back? No. Will Wade's not coming back. No. But I think you're gonna get some good news today. I have a feeling today you're gonna get some good news for LSU basketball. Sorry, my eyes just dried out. Okay. Shelby, I just found out Oklahoma has a quarterback named General Booty. That's Josh and Abram Booty's. I think it's Abram's son. I think General is Abram's son. Yeah, man. I mean, he played football at let's see. I think General Booty is Abram's son. I'm almost positive. It's so late. I gotta go. Anyway, whatever. Abram, of course, played LSU. He's part of that whole. Josh Booty and Abram Booty and John David Booty, and I think General is Abram's son. I could be wrong though. Anyway, okay, I gotta go. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching. YouTube, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Facebook, please like the page, share the post, and again, the link pinned there is ProCharge. ProCharge is giving away 3 free EV chargers to commercial businesses at the end of this month. You have all month to apply. It's a link. You fill out the form. If you own a business or know someone who does, please send them that link. I'd appreciate it. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. Peace.